Hey, haven't done one of these in a while. I have way too much going on today, but I did say I wanted to talk a little bit about the Play for Dreams headset. So even though I don't have it with me, I'm just going to talk about it just so there's some thoughts out there. It's probably the best non-mainstream headset I've tried so far. The fit was a little bit awkward. I kind of felt like I needed to treat it almost like a tilted, fashionable little hat thing. But then I found if I pulled it down more over my nose, then I kind of found the sweet spot. And the initial beginning was kind of awkward. And then it was like, oh, the hand tracking's not enabled. I have to go in and enable that. Oh, the resolution seems kind of pixelated and grainy. By default, it's using a lower frame rate and a lower resolution. And I had to go and toggle that all on and get rid of all the chromatic aberration issues. But once I had kind of weaseled my way through all those initial settings, it was incredibly sharp. I didn't try much with the onboard apps. There's a nice little open brush and that kind of stuff. And the interface, by the way, is a very direct, not even trying to hide it, knockoff between Apple Vision Pro and MetaQuest. But, steal from the best, I guess. It's taking the best of both worlds. It's a very familiar interface. Even things as simple as resizing windows uses the same kinds of handles as the Apple Vision Pro, and the way that you've got a little handlebar at the bottom of a window, and then the X is all there. And by the way, it feels really good to use kind of that Apple Vision Pro interface, the Vision OS interface, with controllers. The controllers are great. They feel nice. They're well designed. The whole thing just looks very sleek, feels very sleek. I like the way that it all charges from one device in a much easier way than the MetaQuest Pro, where the dock was always kind of awkward. It's just one little charger that has a little forked charger for the controllers, and then a standard one for the headset, and charges pretty quick. Battery didn't last a huge amount of time, but it also warns you when you upgrade to the full 8K mode that the battery's going to die quicker. Totally worth it though. But yeah, the hand tracking was not so great, but the controller tracking felt really good. And when it really shined for me was connecting it to PCVR. I know you can do some things with, I think, virtual desktop and maybe even ALVR. I just used their out-of-the-box streaming solution. I hooked it up to our PC, which has an RTX 5090, and it was amazing, incredible. Better than what I saw using ALVR with the Apple Vision Pro, better than Quest Link, better than other SteamVR applications. This is going through SteamVR, but I opened some old apps. I opened the lab, and no joke, I wasn't high or anything, but I couldn't stop staring at my hands, my little robot hands in the lab. This experience that came out in 2016 or something with the release of the HTC Vive. The hands were so sharp. And yes, the hands didn't launch with the experience. This came later. Forget about all that. But the level of detail I was seeing was maybe the best I've ever seen with PCVR. And it's been a while since I've looked at Valve Index and some of those other very sharp headsets, which are getting old, by the way. Didn't the Index come out in 2019? In any case, all I can say is everything was so sharp, so vivid. I couldn't stop staring at my hands. There were also a lot of color correction things in the menu. Side note, but if you want to get color exactly right, I like that a lot of that is on board and available there. And I was just having such a good time feeling immersed in the world there. It felt really good. The field of view, even though it's kind of square, was great. The tracking was really good. I walked around my home quite a bit. And all I can say is this is a really promising headset. These are still early. The team seems incredibly communicative, eager to please. I've got WeChat conversations going with them now, and they are open to feedback. They want to hear responses. I mentioned that the fit was a little bit awkward on my head, and they were oh, well, here's some photos of other fits that we're playing with. That's a little bit more of a forehead focus thing, kind of like the Enna Pro straps for Vision Pro. And it's already a very light headset. It's not heavy at all. So, for the price point that they're going for, which I think is going to be $1,600 to $1,800, it really does feel like something that's in that range between a Vision Pro and a Quest Pro. Yeah, Vision Pro and Quest Pro. And this does feel like the closest thing to a successor to the Quest Pro right now. It just has this kind of premium feeling quality to it, but it's light. I love that it does the auto IPD adjustment the Vision Pro does. You don't get the mixed reality hand stuff, at least as far as I know, that you do with Vision Pro, which, by the way, looks really nice with ALVR when you're connecting to a desktop PCVR application. But again, Vision Pro is much more expensive, but this is lighter, more comfortable. It's really easy to work with. It's Android. It uses a lot of simple ADB shell commands if you're trying to, track things or log things. So that's nice. I am curious to see if they're going to actually go ahead and use the Android XR operating system, because right now what they have, I think they just call it like Dream OS, and it is this very clear, I'm not going to say hacked together version. It's very elegant. It's an elegantly copied version of something that feels between MetaQuest and Vision Pro. But, and there's things like the environments, like you have environments and they're kind of like the Vision Pro, but they're like the cheap knockoff versions of those environments. Nothing quite at the level of beauty or care. But, Apple probably spent like $1 million on each of those environments. So for a smaller team putting together a headset like this, I just want to say I'm incredibly impressed. Like, this is great work. It's still early days. I want to see what the software updates and the firmware updates and the hardware updates, the strap updates, all this stuff, where this all goes, because I am very, very, very impressed by what this is doing right now. And a lot of the projects that my company's been involved with that have used the Vision Pro or have used the Quest Pro or have considered the Vision Pro, but for price or weight or shareability reasons, that didn't really seem like a good solution. This I think could be there. One other nice thing, two more nice things: camera access, which is like ready to go in Unreal Engine. It's like a few nodes to get going with camera access. Mwah, that's great. That's wonderful. We've been dealing with much more complicated ways to get there in other ecosystems. And then they've got like a large-scale immersive LBVR setup. I haven't been able to test it yet. But again, the fact that these are early days, these are early SDKs, and that stuff is already there and available, and the team is like standing by to communicate and talk about these things and hear feedback. All the right buttons and switches and knobs, and it feels good. So excited about this headset, excited about what's coming down the pipe with Android XR. I think we're in a good place for the ecosystem. And don't count out Apple. Like, Apple is doing really good stuff. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I am excited for all of these companies to be competing for our business as developers and consumers and all that good stuff. So play for Dream, thumb up, thumbs up. I just can't do two thumbs while I'm holding a phone. But that's all. Why am I still talking? Goodbye.